I believe that most people would like to think that child abuse does not exist, at least not in their happy, well-insulated, sheltered corner of the world. But the fact is that child abuse does exist everywhere. It knows no socioeconomic or ethnic boundaries. It exists in your neighborhood and mine and every other neighborhood in America. Sometimes in life we're forced to recognize these situations, and with any luck it opens our eyes and changes the way we view things irrevocably. My 6-year-old daughter has a friend from school. Over the course of the school year, she became somewhat of a fixture in our home, and on several occasions I noticed things that I thought were a bit out of character for a kindergartner. I would hear her tell my daughter things like, "Don't do that, you don't want to make your daddy mad," and most often it wasn't what she said, but more the way that she said these things that gave me pause, as though each thing could be a severe infraction. 2 months ago when she came to our home, she had a black eye. I asked her how she'd gotten it, and she told me that she had slipped in the mud, and while I hoped it was the truth, I couldn't think of a way to find out. So, not knowing what else to do, I went to the school to speak to her teacher. When I asked the teacher if she had any suspicions regarding the little girl's home life, she admitted to me that she did, but when I asked her if she'd looked into it, she told me that she hadn't. So I asked her whether or not she checked into the cause of her black eye, which was still very pronounced, and the teacher told me that she hadn't noticed it. I was absolutely appalled. I mean, who could fail to notice a black eye on a 6-year-old? I explained to her everything that I'd observed, and she assured me that she would look into the matter and get to the bottom of it. When I went back to the school 2 days later to meet with her and ask her what she'd been able to find out, she told me the little girl told her that she'd fallen on cement and hit a rock, which she was fully aware was a completely different story from the one given to me, but she took no further action. It was at this point that I really realized how often people, even those in a position to stop or prevent abuse, turn a blind eye. The fact is that, according to childhelp.org's national abuse statistics, over 3 million cases of child abuse involving 6 million children are reported in the U.S. every year, and more than 5 children die every day at the hands of a parent or caregiver, with it being estimated that roughly 2,000 children die at the hands of a parent or caregiver every year. ChildWelfare.gov claims that this is typically considered a very inaccurate number, as it's estimated that 50 to 60% of cases of filicide are written down wrongly on the birth certificate or assumed to be an accident. In her article, Primary Prevention of Child Abuse, Lisa Bethia, MD, states that the very people children look to for love and protection, their parents, are the most common abusers of all. Even with animals, the most basic instinct is to protect our young, yet humans so often fail miserably in this regard. According to James Prescott, PhD, in his article Child Abuse in America, Slaughter of the Innocents, commonly, even in the most heinous cases, the sentence is either light or there is no sentence for the crime. More startling still is the fact that most cases of abuse are never even reported, and therefore never investigated at all unless they result in a death. Friends, relatives, neighbors, and even teachers often see the signs, but don't want to become involved, whether out of fear of accusing someone falsely, fearing personal repercussions by the accused person if the authorities don't pursue the matter, or just reckless indifference. And therefore they pretend, often even convincing themselves, that there's nothing going on. The fact is that no one wants to think of children being hurt. We cannot, however, allow the fact that this is an unsavory topic to blind us to our responsibility as human beings. I believe that it's important for everyone who suspects child abuse to recognize that taking a stand and reporting it is not an option but an obligation, and that we should be fighting for tougher laws to protect children and give stronger punishments to anyone who would be so despicable as to abuse them. I personally sign every petition I can find regarding stronger laws, and donate to several charities that are dedicated to the fight for stronger laws to protect children. However, there are any number of ways that you can help to stop these atrocities, and some are as simple as writing a letter. Everyone can do something to make a difference. As Mother Teresa said, "What I do, you cannot do. The needs are great, and none of us ever do great things. but we can all do small things with great love, and together we can do something wonderful. If we do not feel an absolute compulsion to help the young and helpless, what does that even make us?